Have you ever faced a tough choice, whether to do the right thing, even if it might cost you everything? That's exactly the kind of challenge Daniel, a faithful servant of God, had to face. His story is one of courage, faith, and God's amazing power. Daniel wasn't just any man. He was a wise and faithful man who worked in the government of King Darius of Persia. He had been taken from his home in Israel years earlier, but even in a foreign land, Daniel never stopped serving God. Now, King Darius liked Daniel a lot. In fact, Daniel was so honest, trustworthy, and hardworking that the king wanted to put him in charge of the whole kingdom. Imagine that, being second only to the king himself. But not everyone was happy about this. The other officials were jealous. They thought, why should Daniel get all this power? We need to bring him down. These jealous men searched for ways to find fault in Daniel. But Daniel didn't cheat, lie, or steal. He was faithful in everything. The only thing they could use against him was his devotion to God. So, they came up with a sneaky plan. They convinced King Darius to make a new law. The law said, for the next 30 days, no one could pray to any god or person except the king. If anyone broke the rule, they would be thrown into the den of lions. The king didn't realize the trick. He signed the law without thinking about Daniel. Now here's the test. Daniel knew about the law, but he also knew he could never stop praying to God. So, as usual, he went to his house, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, and prayed 3 times a day, just as he always had. The jealous men were waiting. They caught him praying and ran to tell the king. When King Darius heard this, he was heartbroken. He loved Daniel. He didn't want to harm him. But the law of the Medes and Persians couldn't be changed once it was signed. No matter how much the king tried to find a loophole, there was no escape. Finally, the king gave the order. Daniel would be thrown into the den of lions. Before it happened, the king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve faithfully, rescue you." The den was sealed with a stone, and the king's own royal seal was placed on it so no one could interfere. That night, King Darius couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and refused entertainment. He was too worried about Daniel. At the first light of dawn, the king rushed to the lion's den. With a trembling voice, he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to save you from the lions?" And then came a voice from the darkness. "Yes, your majesty. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, and I have done no wrong before you either." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den, and not a single scratch was found on him. But the story doesn't end there. The king then commanded that the men who had plotted against Daniel be thrown into the lion's den instead. And this time, the lions overpowered them instantly. After that, King Darius sent out a message to all his people, declaring that everyone should fear and respect the God of Daniel. For he is the living God who saves and rescues, who performs signs and wonders, and who had rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. Daniel's story teaches us a powerful lesson. Sometimes, doing the right thing may not be easy. People might plot against you or try to stop you. But if you stay faithful, trust God, and keep doing what's right, He will be with you, even in the scariest lion's den moments of your life. If you enjoyed getting lost in that story, do me a favor and let me know by giving the video a like. For more stories like this, subscribe to the channel and tap that bell to get notified the moment I upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.